Hey there, creepy collectors, how's it going? It's Douglas here at Drowned Boy Productions, bringing you another Screaming Ghostface Collectors video. And today we have something that's a little bit outside the norm. Usually we're looking at official products on this page. Every now and again we have some cool fan-made Scream stuff, whether it be Burkbench's awesome creations, or the robes by Scream Robes, or some other robe makers. Today we have something that is truly cool and truly unique. As you can already tell by the title and thumbnail of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a full set of custom Scream Funko Pops. This is pretty much everyone but Sydney from the main cast. And this entire set was made and sent to me by my good friend Billy Baloo, aka Pop Rocks Custom Funko. Billy's a good friend of mine that I've gotten to know over the past few years from doing this channel, and funny enough, Billy's the only real reason that I actually have the appreciation for Funko Pops that I do. Prior to getting to know Billy and his appreciation for Funko Pops, I didn't really appreciate them that much. I was always more of a fan of highly articulated figures, or if it was a statue, something much larger. But seeing Billy's passion for not just collecting but creating these things made me start to appreciate them a lot more, and now, I hate to say it, but I've started to love these little melon-headed monstrosities. But enough of my blabbering, let's go ahead and take a look at each of these customs. First up though, we're going to be taking a look at one that is not Scream related, so let's go ahead and get this out of the way. So the first pop we're going to be taking a look at is a custom of me as Colonel Sanders wearing the white suit with the chicken. It's a pretty good likeness, I gotta say, but if it were me, that chicken bucket would be empty. I love that little fella, but let's go ahead and take a look at the actual cast of Scream. Now, like I said, Billy's got pretty much everyone here except Sydney, and there are a few characters here that actually have multiple versions. So, I guess let's just start with where the movie starts. First up, we have our Drew Barrymore as Casey Becker. Check that out. I wish I was more well-versed in Pop so I could tell you guys some of the different bodies and heads that he has kit bashed together to make these, but on several of them he actually has like sculpted on his own hair, and some of them have their own sculpted accessories as well. Like Drew here, of course, is holding some Jiffy Pop. Casey's looking cute as always, but I better watch out speaking like that. After all, she's got a boyfriend who might kick my ass. Speaking of that boyfriend, here we have Steve. This, I gotta say, I know it's one of the first ones, but the Steve is one of my favorites. It's just so cool because it literally does look just like Steve tied up to the chair here. He's got his little bloody knees, of course. The Woodsboro jacket on. Bruising looks great, the blood looks great, he's got the one drooped eye where it's swollen shut. Very, very well done. Kind of a morbid pop to have, you know, it's somebody kind of being tied up to be killed, but still it's so fucking cool. It looks so cool next to Casey. And he didn't do just one Steve, he also did, and this is my favorite of the two, a dead one. Check that out. So of course, moments after the patio lights turn out, this is what happens to poor Steve. He meets his fate. And I gotta say, yet again, pretty gory. He's got him just pouring blood, intestines hanging out. I like that he's painted the eyes closed so it does look like he's deceased. He intended to do not just a dead Steve, but he actually was gonna do a gutted Casey corpse as well. But unfortunately, he did not get around to making that one. But let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. This is yet again another one of my favorites. I feel like I'm going to be saying that for all these because it's just so cool. And by the way, I'm quite surprised that Funko hasn't already taken the opportunity to produce a majority of these characters, at least our core cast from the first movie. I'm just surprised they haven't made pops of these characters already, which brings me to another point I forgot to mention earlier. Billy was the first person, I believe, to make Ghost Funko Pops. Before Funko ever made Ghost Funko Pops, Billy was out there doing all the characters, all the Papas, all the different paint versions. Really, really cool stuff. But my next character, and the fan favorite of course, and the voice of the audience, here we have Randy. But it's not just any Randy, it's Randy holding the VHS tapes from inside the video store. So such a cool, iconic moment. Yet again, if you were going to do Randy as a Funko Pop, come on, what a great moment. Super well done, and I'm just really, really impressed with like the micro painting of the Halloween VHS cover, because it looks just like the Halloween VHS cover. You guys won't be able to see it until you see the close-ups, but it's there. And moving right along, we have everyone's favorite news reporter, Gale Swallows. Yet again, a pretty accurate representation of Gale. Got her in the green suit there with the girl boss hands on hip pose, not taking shit from nobody except for she can't stand on her own because she's the only one that has a plastic base. You know, Gale, this is what they warned you about when they said don't go and get a big head. I think Gale's the only one that sustained any injuries. There's a little mark across her leg and the side of her dress here where I think some of her skirt got scraped off at some point possibly. But other than that, the rest of these are pretty much perfect. So let's move right along. And next up we have the beautiful Rose McGowan as Tatum Riley. This one looks really, really awesome, and one of my favorite things about it is the micro painting that he did on her skirt. Doing that skirt pattern and painting that on such a small scale has gotta be difficult, and that just turned out so freaking awesome. And of course, you can't have Tatum Riley without old Dewey Riley. Yet again for Dewey, you have another iconic moment, the jump scare at the door where he's holding up the mask, and the mask just looks really, really well done. It does look like a fantastic faces. I'm impressed with his ability to kit bash these random different figures together and maybe sand a little something off here, change an arm there, change that pose slightly, repaint it, and make it an entirely different character and make it look so convincingly like an official Funko product. Next up we have Tatum's boy toy, Stu Mocker. And I gotta say, I love that it's the party Stu. You would presume that it would be the bloody shirt Stu, and I gotta say, if Funko did it, I would hope that they did a bloody shirt variant, because that's such a great iconic scene. Maybe somehow have a little foam coming off the top of his head there, like it's action. You get the point. But yeah, Billy decided to do Party Boy Stu holding a brewski, looking fresh as fuck. And next up, we have Stu's boy toy, Billy. And we actually do have two versions of Billy. The first one we have here is the earlier one where he gets caught with the phone. This is him holding the cell phone, and of course just clean white shirt, so just pretty standard Billy here. Pretty awesome. And he actually did do a bloody shirt Billy with the knife. Check that out. Of course, the bloody version's got to be my favorite between the two, but I love both of them. I also do love that with several of these, specifically with the ones that there are multiples of, yet again, the eyes are different. So you got one Billy with kind of a normal blank stare, and then you got this other Billy with more of a menacing look. This next one is probably the most unlikely character I thought for him to make. I personally never would have thought to make it. And for the actor out there that portrayed this character, this may be the only action figure of you that exists, so this is pretty freaking cool if you're out there watching some random Scream YouTuber's YouTube video by chance. Here we have a Funko Pop of Neil Prescott, Sydney's dad. Of course, whenever he comes out of the closet, he's all taped up, bruised up, beaten, bloody nose. Really, really impressive. Yet again, with his arms behind his back all taped up. The only thing I noticed on this one is, looks like maybe the head came partially popped out. I know there were a couple of these that were actually sent in these plastic globes I'll show you guys here in a second, and I think this is one of them, and they got a little knocked around, but still, who would have thought of making Neil Prescott as a Funko Pop? So this has got to be a really, really cool, one-of-a-kind item. I mean, genuinely, you would probably think of seeing a figure or something of any of these other characters before this, so this is really freaking cool. And lastly for today's video, of course, the main star of the show, the one that we're all here to scream for, Ghostface. Now I will say, this is one of the Chinese bootleg knockoff Funko Pops. Billy got one of these so that he could customize it, and I mean really the only way that it's customized that I can tell at least, other than some slight repaints on the robe and stuff, is that he's actually done a chrome knife with blood on it, and it looks really, really good. I actually kind of wish Funko would have went that route, although I could see the paint application perhaps being a pain. And this is actually not the first Ghostface Funko Pop that Billy sent me, because a while back he sent me his original, real Funko Pop Ghostface. But as much as I do appreciate these material possessions, these pops are not what I appreciate the most. I appreciate you, Billy. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for being you, and thank you for being a friend. I love you all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.